YouTube, what is going on, man? It's your boy Benji, and we are back, bro. It's a little bit of like Hoops HQ type content, but man, this is interesting enough. Angel Reese, big time player from LSU, declared for the draft, and she's been getting a lot of flack because she made some comments after that game talking about how much she's been through and how she feels like she's been treated unfairly. But of course, I'm gonna go to Twitter and see this thought process.
Give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Acho, cater your take based upon gender, Acho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did, post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you, because you were the second best basketball player on the court, and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20. Dog. Showed up. Biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog. But you can't, under any circumstance, go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your map.
Is she the villain, though?
Are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown. Because what frustrated me is when you want to be the villain, but you want to hope for sympathy like a hero.
All right, so what it's referring to is there was an instance in which after the game she got up there. Florida, I think, was first asked about how she feels about Angel Reese and how she's helped him in the season. Florida talked about how she made her so much better as an individual and as a player. So spoke very highly of Angel Reese. I think after the reporters asked questions about Angel Reese and how she's helped their team, it yielded a little bit of emotion from them, being that they all put in so much work. Their season is over with, and now what to look forward to going after. I also did notice Haley Van Lith, and it's so funny how sidebar how quickly everyone switched up on her this season it's been I think with her playing with so much of a better team, it's been easy that her deficiencies have been highlighted. You know, everybody now has been talking about her defense and some of her playmaking and her shot decision making, etc. She's under such a magnifying glass because I think now there's such a pressure on them to win because they were so good. When she was at Louisville, she was regarded as such a highly rated player coming out of high school and still playing so well for Louisville. But now she's elected to transfer, so that's gonna be interesting to watch. Now, anyways, back to this. They captioned this: Black women have historically been the most marginalized group in America, but I want to give a gender neutral and racially indifferent take on Angel Reese, can't bet big bad wolf and cry like her with a cowardly dog. And then he continued to go under this and say, level-headed friends, please know I always speak out on racial and gender bias. One of the few on TV to speak about it. I've consistently publicly supported Angel through it. However, I don't blindly support anyone. I assess every situation individually, and whose backlash is exposed to gender bias and racial bias exists in sports, clear to see. So he's talked about this, I guess, multiple times. Also, just because you disagree with one of the individual's actions one time does not mean you hate them. My job is being an analyst, not a fan, which means your opinions must shift. When in doubt, he posted this, which says, if it wasn't classless when Caitlin Clark did it, don't call it classless when Angel Reese does it. I guess it's about the you can't see me thing. For those wondering how Caitlin Clark didn't win, Angel Reese won the national championship. These were Reese's stat lines. To prove that Angel Reese is not classless and has been singled out as a threat of men taunting their opponents. Right. So we got the comments going in. She asked about experience and pain. And yes, that's what I was getting to. She was being painted as a villain because of the circumstances and what led to it. It wasn't like they just came out. She was individually asked about the season, and then she started trying to play the victim card. I feel like everybody was making fun of me, and she didn't do that. There was things that led up to that weren't necessarily anything around her. And then after her teammates talked about her with high regard and about the season, and then that kind of elected her response, which we didn't see the question that she was even asked, that led to, man, I felt like I've been painted or treated like X, Y, and Z. Okay. Now, Taylor Rooks went off. Fellow black woman. Respectfully, Claudia, the disappointing thing about this take is you can't have an informed opinion on this if you are choosing to be gender neutral and racially indifferent. Because that is how did she get this off? First of all, I thought Twitter had a cap on characters. Because that is impossible. Her existence as a black woman shapes both how she is seen by others and how she sees the world. And in this case, how she is seen by you. Your response here is full of opinions that indirectly involve race and gender. It is just coded to unsuccessfully soften the blow. All he said was you can't be the villain, embrace the villain, and then be mad when no one looks at it as if you were the hero. He took everything else out of it and came up with that statement. I get you can argue that her color and her background don't affect how she operates. But he gave a take that was indifferent of all that. But I'll continue to allow her to continue. It is just coded to unsuccessfully soften the blow. You have to ask why Angel became the villain. You have to wonder why her being asked the question and simply answering has led to this level of discourse. Sure. I think that is very important because honestly, I don't know. Caitlin Clark does get a lot of, you know what I mean? Like I talked about in another video. I think Caitlin Clark does get a lot of bad feedback. And I can say that because Caitlin Clark is the best player in college basketball. Statistically, I mean, she's put the team on her back and has put out ridiculous numbers. All-time great in terms of points scored. She's going to be up there with, I think, also an assist as well. What are we talking about? You have to ask, what you mean when you say Angel wants to talk grown opposed grown? What is grown a substitute for? I think, okay, I'll let you go. You have to ask why trash talking are passages that many athletes engage in are seen by so much harsher when it comes to someone who looks like her. You have to ask if some of the ideas you express fuel the fire of the aforementioned marginalization. You have to ask why you heard her discuss unacceptable treatment and your reaction will discuss how she can address it. Don't think you said that. And I have to ask if you spoke to any black women athletes about their experience in order to give a more enlightened take before you came and said this. Angel has absolutely made herself a public figure and she should be open to the criticism pertaining to her game persona. She should also be allowed to express those criticisms out of bounds. Why did you clean her reaction as opposed to the vitriol that caused it? She simply does not deserve sympathy for losing a game. She deserves sympathy for being attacked, targeted for things outside of said game. As much as you believe that this to be a take without bias, your reasoning proves the point that you're fighting against. Opinions are opinions and everyone's entitled, but your opinions are shaped by paradigms that we know. I hope that no one says you are taking out gender and race because in the black woman's world we don't have the choice. I hope you realize that your luxury and privilege by being able to say what you said. I hope you look around and know those people that you had the light and applaud of seeing a black man get on television and give us opinion on a one black woman because that is not for reasons you think that's my take. She didn't have a take. No, she did actually. Like empathy towards black women is astounding, even from our own men. I can see how could he see her interview and not feel compassion towards the racism she's faced when probably these young adult. I've watched the clip. As a black man, I'm going to say this: you can't talk all the junk you want, showboat, simply treat this human being. But You won't be liked as much. You rub people the wrong way. Those things are important to you. You'll change how you're going to live, not apologetically, and it comes with that. No one is excluded from perception. It's about my disagree. Male athletes are applauded for being cocky and brash. What he's doing in the court is no different. I have no problem with her in the court answers. Me either with we don't back Dream up playing hard again wins. Bible is literally something to do so best in the men's side and it's always just liked. Can't talk about trash and didn't argue definitely do it. To say Caitlin Clark has received racism is crazy. We literally make LSU versus Iowa versus black. Black people are not excluded from being biased. Okay. So, to argue about what Taylor Rooks said, and I'll go to her page real quick to see if she made another reply to this. Why are you so vocal? I'm proud of your inability to read 2 paragraphs. That's funny. The narrative, the injuries cried of losing his BS and agenda driven. Porters have asked how she felt regarding her teammates standing up for her, and that's what she cried. It had nothing to do with the game, and she made no excuse for the loss. Y'all just want to hate her.
You to interview only athletes. We expect.
Well, I wasn't even able to digest everything yesterday, but I want to say thank everyone for showing me so much love, making my announcement with Vogue was iconic. This new world stepping, just believe me. So, I mean, shout out to Angel Reese. So, this is a lot to take in, right? I think Angel Reese is a star, right? For what she's done in the college game. But as she transitions to the pro game, or whatever, at the end of the day, as an athlete, they're put on forefront and consistently analyzed for everything that they do on and off their field. She has done a lot for the game of basketball, and particularly for the women's game. I mean, they broke numbers in terms of most viewed games. And these college games that were most viewed actually came on the women's side. The rivalry that they had with Iowa, whether intentional or not, because this rematch was such an important part of the season. Because it was, there's a story there. She did say she embraced being the villain, right? She's been a trash talker for longer basketball career. I mean, if you're new, Hoops HQ has content of Angel Reese in high school talking smack and doing what she does. All right? So, I would hate to sit there and act as if this is like new information, right? Because end of the day,
shout out Hughes HQ.
She's a hooper, bro. So I gotta salute her because she has a lot of talent on the basketball court, right? And I feel like we just are unfair. If I could make that argument, I feel like we're unfair in how we regard athletes, because now that we can make the argument that women want to be treated this equally to the men in the space. Sure, whatever. They just don't want to receive the inequalities when it comes to how people view the game, regard the game, and how they get paid. Truly, I think she's allowed to talk about how unfair it is that people are acting as if she's not a person. I absolutely agree to that. She did ask for some fame after, getting to a certain point where now she's getting money off of her likeness. But at the end of the day, she's still a person, right? So being sexualized to the point where people were making AI videos of her, and where every day people were asking about how cute or not she is or whatever. and that's a discussion. And people are wondering about how much trash she talks and are so quick to like show her up or whatever. I find that a little bit crazy. But funny enough, like she is who she is, right? Like I don't think it's like she's talented. Like I said, you can see here in her high school footage, bro. She was getting buckets, talking smack, but that's how she plays. She plays with aggressive. Now, what I was getting to with all that, people don't treat athletes like people, period, right? And I think that's something we need to acknowledge across the board. Yo, if Steph Curry has a good game, he's the man. If LeBron James has a good game, oh my goodness, my glorious king, da 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 da. Have one bad game, not even a bad game. LeBron James can just lose. And there are people talking about each and everything possible. People were wishing so much about his son after a flash with a near-death experience, right? So people don't regard any athletes, particularly in basketball, as human when they are on top of the world and when they have an off night. I don't think it's fair. Now, that doesn't make these women, I don't think that, I mean, unfortunately, they're in a world now where that's almost normalized. I don't think it's right. And I think that she can speak to how she's feeling. But like you're talking to the like it's like you're preaching to the choir, bro. Like they're not listening to you because all they cared about was you winning, losing, or hitting the parlays. Unfortunately, they're not treating you like a person. I think that's unfair, and I believe that we can talk about how unfair the narratives might have gotten because it was a team of predominantly black women in Louisiana in the Deep South. Playing against a predominantly white team in Iowa. And I'm sure there's plenty of racial epithets that come behind or alongside that. So getting to the point of softening that blow, I don't know what Taylor Rooks is talking about because I can kind of see both ends. Brother, Draymond Green can do plenty of great things for the community. And I hate to liken it to Draymond Green, but I'm going to get there. He has somebody who has been highlighted with all these ejections and this almost dirty play that he has, right? Cool. So people do not regard him with any respect. All right. And I think you can make an argument there. Playing dirty for no reason is where to the point where people forget about the talent that you have. I think that is an important distinction to have. Like, look at this play. She talks smack, gets her a bucket, flexes on him. Like, it's a heated game. I think you should be allowed to have emotions. That's why I get annoyed watching the NBA when they have a good play and these guys get teched up. Let them have emotions. But women talk smack in basketball. They probably talk way more smack than the men. Right? They're way more vocal the entire game. Yeah, crazy still. But anyways, they talk a lot more smack. At the end of the day, I think that just people just disregard athletes as a whole, and I think that that's what that is. It's unfair. Now you can add in that she's a black woman, and there's a lot of like narratives that come alongside that, like I spoke about earlier. But like, bro, talk about these guys that play very hard, that are the backbones of their team, are literally the type of people that when you have them on your team, you love them, and when they're on the opposite team, you hate them. Dennis Rodman was vibrant and insane, and I could liken that kind of player to Angel Reese. Not a big time scorer, but a big that made things happen, right? A big that can make things happen and get buckets. I'm sorry. A big that can make things happen and grab the ball, hustle, play defense, block shots, rebound. Everything was being criticized. You were on the team with Jordan. Everything you do on and off the court is criticized. If you have a slightly off game, we're gonna say something about you. You can go get your 20 rebounds, Dennis Rodman. If you have 4 points and we lose, we're gonna look at you like, well, maybe Jordan didn't have enough supporting cast. Oh, Dennis Rodman was out in Vegas last night. They're going to make arguments. So, if Dennis Rodman goes there and makes an argument about how people treated him, people are gonna sit there and pull up every excuse to say, bro, we're allowed to treat you this way. Simply because of X, Y, and Z. However unfair it is, and I don't think it is fair. It sucks, honestly. So I don't know, bro. I think there's an argument to be made there about how unfairly Angel Reese in particular probably was treated, but I also think that it's unfair. Like, I also dislike, like I said, how we looked at this scenario. And at the end of the day, long story short, I see both ends. Really. Yes, she was the villain. She talked a little bit of trash. I don't think she's like the villain of college basketball. There's plenty players that play dirtier than her, that play with a little more vibrancy, talk a lot more smack, etc. But she just became the face because she has the most following. That's really what it is. Simply put. And I agree that she can make an argument about it, but it's just up to the people to perceive it. And I think we're just lost as a society to really just be able to perceive what she's talking about, because no one's going to be able to accept it. And I think that sucks. Truly. But long story short, y'all leave in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, and do y'all agree with Taylor Rooks' take on it.